Hi, my name is Michael Nairn. I'm an immigration lawyer and founder of VisaPlace.com. What happens if your TN visa application is refused? It's an unfortunate situation. It happens fairly frequently depending upon the case. Your refusal can be based on the fact that your job offer did not appear on the NAFTA list of occupations, or that the description of your job was not properly drafted, or there's a problem with the U.S. employer, or for perhaps what you said at the border when you had your TN visa interview raised some concerns. There's a lot of reasons why your TN visa could be refused. We have a U.S. visa team who deals with TN visa applications as well as TN visa refusals. So if you are in the unfortunate position where you try to apply for a TN and the NAFTA officer at the border denied you, what can you do? Well, first of all, you have to be aware of the reasons why your application was refused. And in most cases, the officer will tell you their concerns. If that happens, depending upon the reason, you could still reapply. There's nothing preventing you from reapplying. In most cases, however, there has to be a change of circumstances or additional documentation that wasn't filed originally. And you have to explain why it wasn't filed in the first place, because the officer will be skeptical if you apply for a TN visa and then you're coming back to the border once again to try it again. So you have to really make a case as to what was the reason why there was a lack of documentation or information in the first place that caused the refusal, and here is the additional information. What we do when someone comes to us who says, my TN visa was rejected, we look at the case in detail, and many times the application was just not prepared properly. A TN visa application generally is easy to get if you do it right. You just go to the border, you present your documentation, proof of citizenship, your job offer letter, and your credentials, and then the officer will review your paperwork and be able to issue you a visa right then and there on the spot. So it's a great way of getting a visa very quickly. But if it's not done right, likely you'll be refused. So sometimes the job offer letter itself is just not structured properly. For example, the job offer letter has to have the salary, the duties, the name of the company, obviously, the description of why it is that the company needs you, and the job title. I mean, this is common sense, but you'd be surprised how many job offers we see that just don't have the basic elements. The other side of the equation is the credentials of the employee. Often, in most cases, TN visa applicants need a certain level of education. Some of these applicants have gotten their education from overseas and not from, for example, from Canada. That's fine, but there has to be an equivalency analysis, equivalency letter explaining that the education received overseas is still equivalent to a North American degree or diploma. But in addition to that, what about the job credentials? You have to show job credentials that you do qualify. There's a lot that goes into TN visa applications, even though they are very simple in some ways because you can get them right away. You have to make a strong case. So how we handle it, our U.S. visa team handles all TN visa applications as well as TN visa rejections, is that people do come to us, we analyze it, we put it together, and sometimes we have to deal with the employer as well to redo the paperwork. Of course, all applications have to be 100% truthful. There can be no misrepresentation of the nature of the job and the credentials of the applicant. But that doesn't mean that the first time around you should have gotten it in the first place. Sometimes it just means that your paperwork was not properly prepared. So hopefully this gives you some idea that there is some hope for anyone who was refused a TN visa. Thank you for listening and have a great day. Oh, one thing before I go. You can go to our website, www.visaplace.com, for more information about TN visas. Now I'll say thank you and have a great day.